Good morning, collective angels, archangels, ascended masters, all of you. So this upcoming week, or this week we are now in, is very, very significant in our ascension. It's best to remain neutral in everything that happens and observe it. Um, Before we get into any of that, and I wish to make this as short as possible and right to the point, so we're not watching videos and things all day. One thing, my mailbox here on Facebook is full, and every day it's more messages, because of the excitement. But what I'm saying is that those I had anticipated to assist a long time ago, your messages are buried. And every time I get close to them, a bunch more comes in. But in time, I will connect with you if I need to. But overall, with that, anyone that I was assisting, the commonality with all of you is that you were questioning your abilities and you were questioning what you felt within, and also your mentality of thinking that you didn't have a gift was blocking these. So the simplest things to do is to not question yourself and switch up the mentality that you have all of the gifts. And it's very important because you have become much more powerful creators at manifesting. And when you do this, it is the best for you to keep all negative thoughts out of your thought process as well, and keep it open, because for what you are in actuality, everything is possible, meaning that there are no can'ts or cannot or any of those restrictive thoughts. So remain open to that, and you will find your gifts will become stronger, the ones you have. And when you open up, you will also find you have other ones. So do not restrict yourself by saying, I don't have this gift, because you all do, and you can access it. And two of those keys are through the mentality, keep positive, and the other one is the belief. You have to have that in your heart as strong as you can. Believe that you can also, because that is attached to your intent on your manifestation from the heart up to the brain, and when you project it outward into your reality. So those two very important keys will assist more with your uh, gifts and your new gifts and all of your abilities. Um, so having said that, there may be lots of messages I will not get to in my private messages, and where I'm sharing this, there may be no need to assist those of you that ask for it. What you are strongly encouraged is to go with your own trust and belief in yourself, and do not question yourself. And also, those of you just coming into your gifts, it's very important as well that you don't hesitate, and that you always speak your truth. Don't keep anything inside. And also, too, don't hesitate. You wish to act or react by speaking your truth or doing something within 3 seconds. Now, this is important because when you're on the 4D timelines, the remnants of the dark, it takes them 6 seconds, to act or react. So when you do not hesitate and you act within 3 seconds, none of that is any match to you. And actually, you can act within a second, but the reaction time is much slower in the 4D. So you are above any and all of that darkness. So, got a couple notes here. Let's look at, the Facebook things going around, people cloning your accounts and everything. I'll just touch on this briefly again. There's so many things with that. You must also realize and accept that some of you will be leaving, a replica of you behind or whatever. So in some cases, you may run across the doppelganger effect where there is another you. So you just observe that and keep going forward. And then, as you can see, there are scams put out there to spread fear and all of this. But I can assure you, you are divine and we are above all of this. So you just observe it neutrally and just give it no attention. So, and don't share those and don't spread those as well. And anyone receiving them, just delete them. They're ridiculous. As I said, there are many things upcoming. I most likely will not be on the internet for the next several days. However, there was an upcoming exercise that I mentioned if we need to do it. We'll look at this towards the end of this week or the first of next week. And let's see how many of the indictments are unsealed, the sealed ones, because that will depend on what we may do if we need to. So let's give this, a little bit more time, perhaps till the first of next week. So then see what takes place. Now, the number I believe someone said was currently around 57,000 sealed indictments, and as you can see, that's climbing steadily. And I wish to share as some of these indictments are unsealed. There will still be many more coming in. So what we are actually looking at here, this could be in the hundreds of thousands, and it is, cleaning up the swamp, if you will. But in reality, the entire swamp is right around the planet, what we're breaking down and cleaning up. So things are going really quick, which is good, but it is a process and it does take time. And for the most part, what it's looking like, we will be here witnessing this, most of it, and watching the show. It looks like that, but not limited to as well, because as you know, and what you are feeling, that many of us could leave at any time. A lot of the work has been done, but let me say, no one is given any time on anything, and it's only the feeling that we could be leaving soon. So we don't put any time on this. It depends on events. In the meanwhile, have fun, go about what you're doing here, and just keep detached from the drama as you're doing, and keep your highest vibration as well. It's so important. And keep happy with it, knowing that we're getting closer for those of us that are leaving, and for those that are staying, you're getting closer to your favorable timelines. You're being adjusted to fit in there. And for some of you that are, what you'd perhaps call very desolate and are down to the lowest, and perhaps getting evicted from some of the places you are staying in, please understand this is setting you up and placing you for your higher timeline. So it's part of the process. You have to detach from all of that old, and for some of you, it involves where you are staying. You need to be relocated to adjust more comfortably into higher timelines. So have your full trust in this, and keep going forward. And I know it's so very easy for me to say this, but I know it as truth, and I do not question any of that. And for some of you that are early into your believing and trusting in all that is, it may be difficult because you're trying to weed out the doubt, which is fear-based emotion, which has to go because it clouds judgment, and it keeps the veil down intact, that you cannot see the higher truth. But when you have no doubt, it opens up the veil. So your belief and your trust in divinity and your surrender to all of that is very important. It's what floats you and raises you up, and it detaches you from the realities that you see around you that does not feel as comfortable anymore. So again, with this, I'd also like to mention that so many more of you, where your gifts have been enhanced, your sensitivity has become enhanced as well, that you will feel, especially the empath ones amongst you, will feel the energies from others, perhaps 10 times as strong as before. So it's important to note that it's your increase in power that allows you to feel others or negative events 10 times as strong as before. But having said that, even though you can feel them 10 times as strong coming in, you quickly flip them, and you flip the polarity of them, but you recognize who they're associated with or what. Then you send out your beacon of light or whatever it is you do to rectify and remedy the situation or the person that you're assisting. And for example, let's say you got all of your inner work pretty well done, that you no longer have impatience, but let's say you're in close proximity to someone, or even just met up and just starting to converse, but let's say out of the blue you will feel yourself become impatient. Well, what actually is happening? No, it's not you. You are feeling that impatience from the one that you just come in contact with. So it's a cue to tell you that one of the obstacles, blocks they need to overcome is dealing with impatience. So immediately where you feel that and you become it, you flip the polarity of it so it doesn't affect you, and then you go right to the source, which is coming from them, and you start assisting them on their impatience and letting them know, how it's fear-based and how it is hindering them, how it's hindering their timelines going forward, their most favorable life path, if you will, and just let them know how it's much easier just to go with the flow. In whatever way you're given, you will be told that you trust it in your heart and never doubt what you're saying. And sometimes in the beginning of this, when you're assisting another, you may even amaze yourself by what you say, because it's coming from down in here, but it come from the etheric realms before that. But it is beautiful, and that is your connection to all that is, and the collective and everything. So cool. Weather anomalies, increasing things in the skies and the weather in space, all of that is is happening. Comically, to me, a friend sent about the Hubble space station, the telescope that's in space, the Hubble telescope, how for some reason it's not pointing where it's supposed to be. So there's lots of funny things going on. Also, you're not getting the accurate reports of what's been happening on the sun in the last several weeks. There have been quite a few CMEs and solar flares and different sun activities, but all in line with the light, and to offer to your physical bodies the photons, which are very important, and the energy to energize you as the angelic beings that you are. But it's to energize the human body as well, and also to assist in the DNA upgrading, to enhance your auras or your energetic or electric fields, and to power them up even stronger yet as we go into these exciting times. Now, the side effects of that, it varies: vertigo, dizzy spells, being nauseated. All these are side effects of bringing the energy into the physical body, the heat as well, because it needs to be integrated within all of your energetic fields. And because, you know, the human vessel is being totally upgraded and evolved to something else. So, you know, it does come with some symptoms and discomforts. But the main thing is, when you're feeling that, just move slow, don't do anything, and it will pass much more quickly. If you try, let's say, for example, if you're dizzy or have vertigo symptoms, do not resist those and try to keep moving. It's meant to keep you still. So you just slow down, move slow, and even lay down if you have to. Then the process gets done that much quicker. And sometimes you'll be feeling very discomforted, but when the process is done, boom, you're right light, you snap right out of it, and everything changes very quickly. But if you resist it, it tends to carry on and on and on longer, and it will push you down lower. So for those of you just beginning to have those sort of discomforts, know that you know, your physical vessel is changing within. It's becoming crystalline, and this is part of the process, because it's taking us into the higher timelines where we will be going with this. And again, there's no time limit on it. It depends on frequencies and more so the overall divine plan, what happens and what occurs. So just take it easy with yourself and relax. And if you're still working or doing jobs, you just call in sick. Don't resist it. It's so important that you just lay down and don't resist these symptoms or discomforts. Your multidimensionality, I put out a post a couple weeks ago that it was speaking about timelines, and I wanted to elaborate more on that, but now is not the time. But that is coming, because it's your abilities as well to knowingly and have free will to, whichever way you look at it, time travel or transcend, ascend to higher timelines and descend to lower ones. So you're getting more free will, and you are getting a wider range that you are able to have control yourself on in the future, and with discipline. in the past you were just placed divinely and by your soul contract, but subconsciously knowing what was happening, you were placed on different timelines and even different dimensions. But it was all governed by the divine plan, and you had no control nor free will over that from your conscious human state. So that is changing as well. And as that changes and becomes a more predominant ability of yours, then you will be given the information more on it so that you can integrate it within your mental thought process as well, because that's what it's your manifestation process that also enables you to transcend space and time at will. But there's other upgrades that need to be done with that. And with that, for those of you, you will be feeling sensations on the side of the face, electrical impulses, and up on the crown, for instance. So you'll be feeling that. And also the neck, there is a stiffness that when those sort of upgrades are happening, you will feel. And if you turn your neck side to side, you will hear all of the grit and the cracking in there from the crystals, but it's part of the process. So everything is. So the multidimensionality, I'll get into that in the future, but it's coming quick that it is time for that. So, okay, one mention about the Pope and the Vatican and about what he's recently putting out to the congregation that they have left intact is they are becoming, the Vatican is an antichrist, and those of you here that you do know that. What the Pope is doing is more so saying that the devil is real and is here, and we know that is not that is not so. The devil does not exist for us. However, what I wish to say is that they have become that desperate that they're trying to again instill that fear into their congregation to keep them, under their spell, if you will, and to be as so desperate as to resort to these sort of measures to try to retain control. It also shows you we're very close to the end times of that, but we knew it. And it is comical for the Pope to say he knew. He publicly stated a couple years ago that the Christ is on the planet, that he knew that. And I can assure you that he also knows that the Christ is more powerful than any devil. So for him to publicly contradict himself now in such a desperate manner shows, that they are down to their last resorts, meaning that their control with child sacrifice, with charging the ley lines negatively, and instilling the fear that, yeah, we are past those days, and they have lost their power, but nevertheless, they know nothing more and really do not have the choice. So they continuously fight against it instead of surrendering. But there's a lot more with that, and I don't wish to get into why it is, but you'll continue to see the implosion, because in reality, where we're at, there is no salvation for any that were given the choice prior to 2012 to do the right thing. And they didn't, and they were also in 2014 given other opportunities, and still they kept on their same tracks of doing ill things towards humanity. So they were given multiple chances, and they were also told from the heavens, if you will, what the results would be if they did not do the right thing. However, they didn't believe it, and they continued to do these suppressive and oppressive and actually um, wrong things, if you will, to humanity. So, but it's all taken care of, as we see, and you'll continue to watch the implosion of all of this. Okay, I'm going to cut this off. I've been on here long enough, 25 minutes or so. So I love you all, and keep the vibrations as high as you can, and keep sharing the magic. Oh, and before I go on the real angels, as you can see, Garnet and others have the site set up for you to submit your uh, one profound one of your ascension experiences, you know, the miraculous ones. So that's set up if you wish to. There's a post there, and I have it at the top as an announcement, so you can connect with Garnet on that to get any of your submissions that you already have written, and we begin that page and that instrument to share. So just to remind you on that. So, great. I will let you all go. Again, I love you, and you are in the most unprecedented times that a human body has ever been in. So let's just keep going and see when we get there, and and just keep going with the flow here. And everything is in perfect divine order. So let's go with it. So I love you, and wink, and we'll catch you later. Bye.